All right, Shalom. Cool. Good to go. Bear with me. All right, Shalom. Before I get started with this live lesson, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring in the house of David, the elect, that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. I'm back at you with another live lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. All right, I pray that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. All right, you true believers in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. We are at the end of this thing, man, and we're almost home. All right, so I want to get into this lesson here. This is another news and prophecy. Know that the end is near. It is even at the doors. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this thing. And like I said, Lord willing, this live lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. All right, so let's pull this up. And I got a few things. I'll be all over the place, but you know, Lord willing, you know, you receive it. So let's go ahead and pull this up. Bear with me 1 second. All right. Okay, we should be pulled up. Okay, so this article here kind of sparked everything off. And like I said, I got a line of videos, articles, and whatnot to just go through in this lesson. But this article here is from America's First Report. It says, is an extinction level event coming in 2027? Now, the scriptures say that no man knoweth the time, but you have to consider how close we are to the end of Babylon, to the end of this world, all right, to the end of Esau's world. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. All right, Esau would be the end of the world, and Jacob would be the beginning of it that followeth, man. So you got to consider what you're going to hear in these videos of what's being said, because we know that destruction, that inevitable destruction of Babylon is very close. It's closer than what we realize. Romans, 13 and 11. Okay, that our salvation is nearer than we believe. All right. So again, it is even. Know that the end is near. It is even at the door. So let's go ahead and get into it. Right.
There's certainly something going to happen in 2027, and I don't know what it is.
Okay.
There's certainly something going to happen in 2027, and I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I've also heard 2034, and I've also heard other dates, you know, much later. But depends who you talk to. Some people say it's a pole reversal. Some people say it's an asteroid hitting the planet. Some people say it's AI reaching quantum, and then all of a sudden we lose the capacity to have control of our own computer systems. I have no idea. What I am aware of is that everybody's telling me we're on borrowed time. And I cannot begin to emphasize how serious a look I get.
And as we know, Esau, he's on borrowed time. All right.
What I am aware of is that everybody's telling me we're on borrowed time. And I cannot begin to emphasize how serious a look I get when I say to people who are confiding in me, what's the timescale on this? And they're urging me to be urgent. They're saying to me, people need the right to know this. They have a right to know this. And I'm going, well, what are we talking about? And I feel like shaking these people and saying, for God's sake, just bloody tell me. And they are all constrained by their national security oaths. They want the public to know this.
Yep. This is the book of Job, chapter 14, verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. All right. So we understand just based off this time frame here. Let me go back. All right. It's like I said, scriptures say, and we'll get it, that no man knoweth the time, but you got to consider. All right. Whatever the big event that's getting ready to happen is close. All right. And it's heavy because, as I brought this out before, because they're talking about 2027, or he's talking about 2027, right? And then I have brought this out before. The average empire survives for 250 years. Is America at death's door? Right now, the inception of America, which was what, 1776. 250 years from there, it gets you to 2026. You see what I'm saying? So these time frames are close, but again, no man knoweth the time. But we see these things through the signs and the tokens that the Spirit of the Lord has given us. All right. So again, it makes the point that destruction is even at the doors. Right. This is Matthew 24. This is Matthew 24, and we'll start at 32 here. All right. This is Matthew 24 and verse 32. It says, Now learn a parable of the fig tree when his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves. You know that the summer is nigh. Verse 33 says, So likewise, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. All right. So as we've been seeing the signs of the times, the prophecies, different global events taking place. All right. The uproars of the people, the sedition that's going on. All right. The collapse of this economy, the society. We know that everything that the Lord promised is at the doors. Okay. It says, verse 34, Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled, going into the prophecies. All right. All the prophecies that are written will be fulfilled. Verse 35, it says, Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Verse 36, the point here, it says, Matthew 24, verse 36, it says, But of the day and hour, no man know that. Salaki, let me read it again. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. All right. So not even Yahweh Shah knows, right? But only the Heavenly Father. So again, no man knoweth the time, but at the same time, right? These things are happening throughout the earth. Things are being talked about. We're all waiting for the event. We see the progression of this MOTB system that's coming. This war that's going on with Israel and Gaza, the least of the flock shall draw them out. America being involved, Russia, leading to the escalation of Armageddon, all these different factors. All right. So that extinction level event is damn near close, man. All right. We see again that death is at America's door. Okay. Let's go back. Matthew 24:36, it says, But of the day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day of Noah entered into the ark. Right. And it's going to be the same thing in this time. All right. As you see, people are of the world. They're entangled with the affairs of this life. All right. But that time is going to come where the elect are going to get beamed up into those chariots, man. They're going to enter into those spiritual arcs. Right. Because that flood of fire is getting ready to come on this second go around. All right. The second death. It says, verse 39. Matthew 24, verse 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. All right. And there was a video, right? Did I pull that up? Bear with me 1 second. I believe Elder Apostle Har had brought it out as well. A couple of brothers went into it, but I think it was like a giant, UFO chariot that had passed by or something like that, man. So the Lord is doing major things in the planet Earth, man. All right. I wanted to see if I had that article. Bear with me 1 second. I didn't line it up in my tabs. Let me see. Let me go back and find it. You know what? We'll get it later. All right. Let's read on. Because it was an article I had about 1,000. It was like 1,000-mile wide chariot or something like that. Lord willing, I'll get it later. But anyway, I'm going to get back to the read here. Right. But reading on back in Matthew 24 and verse 39, it says, "And knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." Verse 40, it says, "Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left," meaning, there's going to be an abduction, right? The elect are going to be taken up. "Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one should be taken and the other left." See? "Be ready for his coming." It says Matthew 24, verse 42. It says, "Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doeth come." This is why we're watching everything. We're supposed to be occupied in prophecy, right? That's the only thing that matters. These prophecies that are coming to pass on a daily basis, man, which authenticates the Bible, which validates the Bible as being faithful and true. "Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doeth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known and what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would have not suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh." Right? Because when the Lord appears, all right, the world is not going to be prepared. Okay. And we see how rapidly the prophecies are coming to pass. All right, the acceleration. It says, verse 45, who then is a faithful servant and a wise servant whom his Lord have made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant when his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing," which is what? Doing the work. Doing the work. All right. It says, "Verily I say unto you, then he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart," "but if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he look not for him, in an hour that he is not aware of." Right? So again, speaking about how unprepared people are for the return of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? People are not looking for these things. They're not watching out for the prophecies. They're not paying attention to the global affairs that are happening. All right, because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we are the true watchmen. We are the true, news forecasters. It says, verse 51, "And shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There should be weeping and gnashing of teeth," man. So a lot of people are getting ready to be destroyed, and they don't even know it. Right? This is Ecclesiastes 9. Ecclesiastes 9 and 12. It says, for man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in the evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in the evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them." Again, man knoweth not the time. Okay? People are not prepared for the disaster, the destruction that the Lord is about to bring, man. Okay? But you got a lot of these Edomites that are speaking about these things. All right, a lot of these Edomites that are in the know, these ex-government officials, these whistleblowers or whatnot. Okay, they're all speaking out, and the scriptures talk about how his tongue shall fall upon himself. Scriptures too, right? So moving on from there. Okay, bear with me. So let's get this right here. This is from Fox News here. Because we've been speaking, the spirit has been on us to speak about this a lot, dealing with this technology, all right, this artificial intelligence, this AI, and it's reached quantum levels. All right. So here it says, this came out today. It says AI models become defiant, beyond frightening. So listen to this. All right.
Wow. From film to real life, artificial intelligence models are now fighting for their own survival. One OpenAI model rewrote its own code to avoid being shut down. And Anthropic started blackmailing the engineer. Kurt, the cyber guy, joins us now. Kurt, I read about this and my jaw dropped. It actually started blackmailing. Joins us now. Kurt, I read about this and my jaw dropped. It actually started blackmailing the engineers who were suggesting shutting the AI down. The AI was going after them. That's frightening.
Beyond frightening. Good morning to you, Rachel. Not to ruin
You got to understand too, this AI is a spirit, man. All right, this is a left-hand spirit. Okay.
your day. But this sort of Hollywood is becoming a reality if we don't do anything about it. Hope at the end of what I'm about to tell you, though. So get ready, though, to freak out about AI getting really out of control. There's an AI keyword I want you to know about. It's called alignment. AI alignment is a science of ensuring that AI systems do what we intend them to do instead of something like you just heard. Nonprofit AI Research Lab put alignment and disobedience to the test. The results, as Rachel did a cursory look at there, are pretty astonishing. OpenAI models, a simple script was given that would shut off the AI model when triggered. 79 out of 100 of those trials, the AI edited the script so that the shutdown command would no longer work. Another AI model from Anthropic that you talked about, further 84% of those tests, the AI model tried to blackmail the lead engineer in not shutting down the system. So it even left messages, by the way, to its future self about evading human control. Now, so what do we do about it? Well, China.
Yo, this is some straight up Terminator shit, man. We told y'all, man. You know, and it's crazy, man, how they made these movies like almost damn near 40 years ago, 30 something years ago. All right. And it's all playing out now. You see, real quick. All right, because the Lord is going to allow this AI to be the end of America as we see it. Because in the Terminator movie, right? I forgot which one it was, but it was the one that I did the video on it. But it was the one that where the AI took over the launch codes, all right, and launched the nukes. I forgot which one it was, but it's the same thing. All right, real quick, Daniel 12:4 says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. We are at the end of the world. Even to the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So going back to this AI, this quantum computing, the level that it's at right now is reached beyond human capability. It's thinking on its own. It's talking to each other. It's making codes that humans can understand. All right, it's being defiant. It's basically doing its own thing. All right, but again, these are those left-handed spirits. All right, as the Lord said that He created these spirits for vengeance. Right. Sirach 39:28. It says there be spirits that are created for vengeance. Man, see this AI, this left-hand, sorcery here, if you will. These are spirits created for vengeance, man. The AI is going to be the demise of the system. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them, right? So essentially, the AI was created by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He's the one that put the spirit on Esau, all right, to manufacture what you see now. All right, just like how he gave, let me get that real quick. Just like how he gave Esau the ability to create the nuclear weapons. It's the same thing with this AI, artificial intelligence, right? Isaiah 54 and verse 16, it says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire." All right. So the Lord put the knowledge in the mind of Esau, all right, to split the atoms to create the nuclear weapon that we see today. All right. Just as he's put the spirit on him to bring forth this AI. Okay, because I believe Elder Yeshawama had did the lesson on it, but the AI, it all goes back to Amalek, right? Just like this nuclear weaponry, all right, teaming. Isaiah 54:16, "But I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work," all right, which is the ICBMs. Same thing with the AI. Okay, they got the AI, the AGI. All right, and I always bring the account when we talk about it. But the video that I should have had that pulled up, but there was a video of a top Google engineer, and he said that these entities that they're dealing with don't necessarily have their best interests at heart. You see, so these engineers that are behind the AI, they're dealing with spiritual forces, man. They're dealing with spiritual entities, the left hand, right? And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. All right. So the missiles, all right, again, is an instrument for the Lord's work to destroy. All right, just like this AI.
System. So it even left messages, by the way, to its future self about evading human control. Now, so what do we do about it? Well, China could actually teach us a lesson. Invested $82 billion into what's called controllable AI, or getting alignment on this. The U.S. needs its smartest minds working on this problem ASAP.
Do you know what else they need? We need bioethicists. We need.
Yeah, that's a good precept. Let me get that real quick. Salakia. That's a good one right there. Hey, Shalom, Mop. All right, GMS, I'm a one, I buy 144. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 12:1, it says, "For thy incorruptible spirit is in all things." See, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is in everything, man. All right. This AI, this left hand is all controlled by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right. That's heavy, man. The water. All right. Let me add on to that real quick. Isaiah. All right. Everything is controlled by the Lord. Isaiah 45:7, it says, "I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, do all these things." All right. So the Lord is behind all of this. Proverbs, was it 16? And was it 4? Let me see. Yep. Proverbs 16:4, it says, "The Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, have made all things for himself. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil." So yeah, going back to this AI, it's being used, for evil. Okay, it's going to be used for the destruction of Babylon. It's going to be used to frame, to bring deception, as we see it. These are those the spirit of devils, lying miracles, man. Right? Let's go back.
On this, the U.S. needs its smartest minds working on this problem ASAP.
Do you know what else they need? We need bioethicists. We need people who can provide some morality around this technology, because so many of the people who are developing this technology are secularists. Their God is tech. And so we need to have that involved too. And that speaks to this next topic, because AI, we're learning, could actually devastate the Earth's population down to the size of the UK by the year 2300. And the reason is because they're replacing jobs that humans did with AI, and we'll lose our purpose, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are a whole bunch of these theories kicking around in the tech sphere. Well, One is about believing that the act of allowing AI to take our jobs now is in and of itself setting off this devastating chain of events. It goes like this. AI takes our jobs. We stop having kids fearing that they're not going to find work. Now, this causes a population implosion, taking what is today 6 billion human beings on the planet down to what you said, the size of the UK, which is about 100 million people by 2300. Now, if you think that's fiction, think again. Some academics think that this population shrinkflation already is happening before our eyes. Because if you look at the stats right now out of the CDC, it measures that we are now at the lowest total fertility rate since the 1930s.
Yep.
The data from 2023, 1.62 births per woman is a figure now. What does it take to keep us from, to replace the human race in America as we age out and leave the planet?
It's not talking about the human race. It's talking about you Edomites, right? They love to play those games, man. All right, because that's why Trump, I think he was offering an incentive for more so-called Americans to have kids. All right, it's talking about these Edomites, man. All right, because they know that their lineage is on the decline. All right, let me get that too. Okay, because the Lord is getting ready to get rid of Esau, right? This is Psalm 21. This is Psalms 21 and verse 8. I start at 7. Psalm 21 and 7, it says, "For the king trusteth in the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved." Verse 8, "Thy hand shall find out all thy enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee." The right hand speaking about Yahushai. All right, he's getting ready to find out all those that hate him. Scripture say those that hate him love death. Psalm 21 and 9, it says, "Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thy anger. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them." And that's going to be, the fire is going to come from the ICBM nuclear missiles, and also when the host of heaven appear on the scene. All right, them laser beams that's going to come forth out of those chariots that's going to turn these people into dust. Okay, verse 10, it says the point. Psalm 21 and 10, it says, "Their fruit shall thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men." Your fruit is your lineage, your bloodline. Okay, this is what the Lord is getting ready to do to Esau, which is going to fulfill Obadiah. Okay, the house of Esau is going to be eliminated. Their fruit shall thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. And part of that mischievous device is going into this man's New World Order. Okay, implementing this MOTB system across the planet. It says, which they are not able to perform. "Thou shalt make them turn their back when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. Be thou exalted, Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, in thy own strength. So we will sing and praise thy power." There you go, man. Okay, let's finish it out.
Two births per woman is a figure now. What does it take to keep us from, to replace the human race in America as we age out and leave the planet? 2.1 of that rate.
Yeah.
So we're shrinking. So
Yeah,
what are you going to do about it? Interestingly, did you see this? That
Well,
Elon
there's some
Musk,
people that like that. I mean, this is what Bill Gates always wanted. This is what a lot of these tech obsessed people have always wanted. They've wanted, and many on the left with depopulation. This is very scary stuff, Kurt.
Did you see what Elon Musk is doing? I mean, this is sort of, he has this idea and it sounds fantastic, but watch him do it. Colonizing other planets like Mars. He wants to do it to reseed or reset Earth. Why? He's watching this. This is exactly what he called out years ago. So what do you and I do about this to at least slow it way down? We call our political representatives and we say, can you please put these smart minds on this so that we don't get offed by AI?
Yeah, smart in minds, but also people with a care and an interest in our souls and the fact that we are human beings, body and soul. And you take away people's work, you take away their dignity, and you replace humans with robots. This is not a recipe for happiness and fulfillment in the future.
No.
A lot to think about.
And you're right.
Kurt, thank you so much. By the way, you can get Kurt's free Cyber Guy report newsletter at cyberguy.com. Thank you, Kurt.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade. Left-wing filmmaker Michael Moore wants to change the Pledge of Allegiance. Left-wing filmmaker Michael.
Former New York governor and now mayoral candidate Andrew.
All right.
I saw this pink salt recipe.
All right, here we go. Video wouldn't stop. All right. Let me get one more I left out as well before we move on to the next point. Daniel. All right. Because we were talking about, how no man knoweth the time, right? But as we just saw here, all right, we just witnessed the level that this AI has reached, all right? So let's get this real quick. All right. Bear with me real quick. Computer's moving a little slow. All right, let's turn this over. That should be there. Hold on. Let me make sure we're good. And if I have any audio issues, let me know in the comment section. All right. But anyway, just wanted to bring this out too, because again, the writing is on the wall. All right. And Daniel, when you read this chapter here, Daniel was talking to King Belshazzar. Right. So we'll start here at Daniel 5:20. Okay. Because everybody sees the writing on the wall. Just as Babylon fell to the Persians and the Medes, it's the same thing that's happening now. All right. So this is Daniel 5:20. It says, but when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was like wild asses. They fed him with grass, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over whomsoever he will. All right, and you could read about what he did to King Nebuchadnezzar, right? Verse 22. It says, and thou his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thy heart, though thou knewest all this. Verse 23. But has lifted up thyself against the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold and brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, in the power in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. And it's the same thing that these devils are doing now. All right, as they glorify these idols. All right, they push these different types of sorcery and witchcraft. Okay, same thing that's going on in this time, because the ruler in this time, his heart has been hardened as well. All right, for the purpose of the Lord to show his power. Verse 24, it says, and it says, then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. It says, and this is the writing that was written, Mene Tekel Upharsin. Verse 26, and this is the interpretation of the king. Mene, the Most High has numbered thy kingdom and finished it. You see that? So again, just like how Babylon fell. All right, this new Babylon, if you will, this daughter of Babylon is getting ready to fall too. All right, the Most High has numbered this man's kingdom and finished it. You see, it says, Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting, lacking. Okay, it says, verse 28, it says, thy kingdom is divided and given into the Medes and the Persians. So just like how that same night, all right, the Babylon fell, we're in that same time. The writing is on the wall, man. All right, just recapping what we spoke about. Okay, that extinction level event is coming in some form or fashion. Right, death is at America's door. Okay, know the time that you're in. Right, the AI, the quantum computing, the MOTB system, the civil wars, nuclear war, no peace, pestilence, plagues, all those things, man. All right, you got to consider. All right, but with that, let's move on. Right, let's get into this. All right, so this is from theguardian.com. All right, just adding to the point about how the end is at the door here. This is from theguardian.com. It says U.S. immigration officers ordered to arrest more people even without warrants. All right, he had the Trump had the what was it called, the habeas corpus. All right, where they can just lock you up without trial. Right, so that time is coming, man. Jacob's trouble, a time like no other. Okay, it says senior U.S. immigration officials over the weekend instructed rank and file officers to, quote, turn the creative knob up to 11 when it comes to enforcement, including by interviewing and potentially arresting people they call collaterals, quote unquote, according to the internal agency emails viewed by The Guardian. It says officers were also urged to increase apprehensions and think up tactics to, quote, push the envelope, one email said, with staff encouraged to come up with new ways of increasing arrest and suggesting them to superiors. If it involves handcuffs on wrist, it's probably worth pursuing, another message said. It says, and we'll get to the video in a second. It says, the instructions not only mark a further harshening of attitude and language by the Trump administrations in its efforts to fulfill election promises of mass deportation, but also indicate another escalation in efforts by being on the lookout for undocumented people whom officials may happen to encounter, here termed collaterals, while surviving arrest warrants for others. Right. So let's play the video real quick, man. All right, because we're in the time where they're going to just start locking any and everybody up. Right. So let's get into it real quick. All right. It's coming. Tom Homan issues start warning about another 9/11 style U.S. terror attack. All right. And before we play the video, let's play a little bit of these, because this is what's going on across America right now.
I'm on the president. Por favor, me está doliendo mucho. No, my son, please. Con la cresta, mi hija.
Yeah, there's one example. Let's see.
Live for us this morning in Washington. Maddie, thank you. Let's bring in Hudson Institute senior fellow and national security analyst Rebecca Heinrichs. Rebecca, the suspect was here illegally after staying both his original visa and his work authorization. Simply put, he shouldn't have been here, and this was preventable, Rebecca.
He shouldn't have been here. He overstayed his visa, illegal immigrant, and he had jihadist sympathies. And remember, just a couple of weeks ago, we had another couple who.
Let's see. Let's play another one. See any other ones in here? All right. Yeah. So here we go. Let's get to it right here.
Joining us now, border czar Tom Homan. Tom, let's get your first reaction, your first public comments on this issue out in Colorado.
You know, me and you've been talking about this for years, Sean. I mean, I worked for the network just before I came back to the second Trump administration. And I've said over and over again, you know, what scares me about the southern border, the sex trafficking, right? Sky high. The Americans dying from fentanyl. The people, you know, all the drugs coming across, all the sex trafficking, all the smuggling. And I said what concerned me the most was they created the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. Not only did 2 million known gotaways, 2 million people cross the border, we don't know who they are, where they came from, we don't know where they are now. On top of that, even through the legal process, the Biden administration was bringing people unvetted, handing out work visas like they're candy, while they sat here and planned something bad. We are going to be dealing with this for the next 10 years. Because of the chaos they created in 4 years. We're out there kicking butt. We're arresting a lot of criminal aliens. We're out there looking for the bad guy. And when we're out there doing that, Sean, we got protesters assaulting ICE officers. We got members of Congress all over the country going to ICE facilities, raising hell, saying this is their oversight responsibility. Where were their oversight responsibility when 10.5 million illegal aliens came across the border? Where's the oversight responsibility on releasing over 8 million illegal aliens to this country? Where's the oversight responsibility then? This is an attack on ICE. This is an attack on the Trump administration. We're trying to fix the damage done by Biden.
You're doing a great job. And this was the most preventable national security threat, I would argue, in history. I have annoyingly asked you the question over and over again. When you have known terrorists and murderers and rapists and cartel members and gang members in the country, and you have them, you know, 12.
So, like I said, who's the T's, the gang members, the rapists, the murderers, the thugs? Who is that? Who are they talking about? It's you tribes. All right. There was a T attack in Boulder, Colorado. All right. So shit is popping. They're using this to justify to come down on you Israelites, man. Understand this. The habeas corpus, as we just read, the ICE are arresting people without warrants. All right. This is part of the wrath. Okay. Read between the lines. This is what these Edomites are talking about.
12 million, 15 million, 20 threat, I would argue, in history. I have annoyingly asked you the question over and over again. When you have known terrorists and murderers and rapists and cartel members and gang members in the country, and you have them, you know, 12 million, 15 million, 20 million, nobody knows the actual number. And what did we learn from 9/11/01? They were at war with us. We were not at war with them, the 9/11 Commission report. They're plotting, planning, and scheming. This is a terror attack. I'm worried about the big terror attack. And, of course, my prayers, my thoughts, my sympathies go out to the victims here. But do you not agree that if we don't find these people soon, that we are at risk of a 9/11 or worse?
It's coming. I mean, why did
you hear it? It's coming. We've been telling you this. These Edomites are telling you this. Whatever they're going to do is coming, man. All right, which is going to change the game. All right.
2 million illegal aliens paid more to get away. They could have paid half of what they paid, cross the border, turn yourself into a border patrol agent, get released that same day, get a free airline ticket to the city of their choice, get a free hotel room, get 3 meals a day, plus free medical care and work authorization. 2 million people paid more to get away. They didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. Why? This scares the hell out of me. I've been doing this for 40 years. It should have scared the hell out of every American what the Biden administration did. This 2 million known gotaways scares the hell out of me. So I'm convinced something's coming unless we can find them.
They came from over 200 countries. We don't know how many. We know there are terrorists here. I mean, you've taken on Mission Impossible, as great a job as you're doing, but to find every single one of them, I don't know how you do it. Hey, Sean Hannity.
There you go. Hey, something is coming, right? Something is coming down the pipe. All right, Habakkuk 2:2, it says, "And the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Verse 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. There you go, man. So whatever is being planned is it's on the books. It's on the table, man. All right. So what are we doing? We're patiently waiting for it. Okay, we understand that we have to go through the trial, the persecution, the demonization, the straight gate, man. Okay, they have to do these. This is part of the will. All right. So the game changer for Babylon is on deck, man. All right, let's play some more. Okay. It says a sweeping new ICE operation shows how Trump's focus on immigration is reshaping federal law enforcement. Right.
Tonight, viral video showing the chaos. Protesters confronting ICE agents after a surprise raid on a popular Italian restaurant in San Diego. Agents setting off what appeared to be flashbang grenades to disperse crowds around their vehicle. This witness asked not to be identified, fearing retribution.
This isn't freedom. This is fascism.
DHS saying the devices allowed agents to leave as safely as possible and that officers were executing search warrants for violations of hiring and harboring illegal aliens, arresting 4 subjects illegally in the U.S. It comes as NBC News has learned top Trump aide Stephen Miller held a meeting screaming at ICE officials to arrest more undocumented immigrants, according to 2 sources who spoke with attendees. Miller setting a new quota of 3,000 arrests per day to include more than just migrants with criminal records. President Trump says he's keeping his campaign pledge to reverse Biden's border policies.
They were pouring into our country by the millions, but we're moving them out.
In Massachusetts, ICE officials announcing the arrest of nearly 1,500 undocumented immigrants last month, including some convicted of murder and child rape.
These are not immigrants. They are criminals.
But
these are not immigrants. These are criminals. You Jakes. Esau's tired. He's fed up. Okay. He's ready to pull out the sword, man. Ezekiel 21, the sword is being furbished and made ready. Right? Who do you see on the screen?
They are criminals.
But there were protests after an 18-year-old high school junior was arrested on his way to volleyball practice. DHS says they never intended to apprehend him, but discovered he was in the U.S. illegally while looking for his father.
And here in San Diego, the community is rallying behind this restaurant, with the owner calling the raid nothing short of traumatic. Tom?
Okay, Liz Kreutz for us. Liz, thank you.
All right, there you go. Real quick, let's grab this too. Let's go to 2 Ezra 9. All right, this is 2 Ezra 9 and 1. It says, He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. So look, we measure the time through the scriptures, man. All these world events that are happening everywhere. All right, we measure it with the scriptures. All right, this is how we see the signs of the times. It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right? Therefore, when thou shalt see, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. All right, there's uproars everywhere, man. In America, Europe, everywhere, China. Okay, people are standing up and rebelling against their governments, the systems, man. Okay, this is happening everywhere. It says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning in the end, and the end is manifest. Okay, this is what we're talking about the end being made manifest, the signs, the tokens, the things that are happening. the different events. All right. Again, death being at America's door. Right. It says, verse 6, 2nd Ezra 9 and 6. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, in endings, in effects, and signs. Right. Let me pull that up. I was talking about that that article. Let me see if I can find it. Bear with me 1 second. I want to just pull it up real fast. It was like a giant UFO. Was it over Texas? No, it was over. Bear with me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I want to try to find it. I had the article earlier. I must have clicked off of it. What was it? A giant UFO. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Salakia for these pop-ups. Let's see if we can pull it. Here we go. So it says 1,000-foot UFO. This is back in May 2nd. All right, last month. 1,000-foot UFO near Four Corners landmark allegedly seen in newly released photo taken by a commercial pilot. So, hey, the Lord is doing things, man. All right, let's see if this video will play here. All right. Oh, these damn pop-ups. Hold on 1 second. Let this pass real quick. Okay, so things, like I said, you know, Sirach 36, hey, the world is beginning to see the power of the right hand. Okay? We're almost there. Get this out the way, man. Hurry up. All right, here we go. Let's see. Why is it not playing the sound? All right, but what you're seeing is the images that they caught. All right. You know, things are going on in the earth, man. And pilots all over the world are catching, you know,
because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing.
Yeah, so that, you know, you get the point. My system's lagging a little bit, but you get it, right? It says, before we wrap this up, it says a new photo claiming a 1,000-foot wide UFO in the American Southwest has been released by unidentified area phenomenon disclosure activists, but critics claim the quote disclosure is more of an embarrassing mistake. It says controversial former Department of Defense employee and activist Louis Lee Elizondo hosted a UAP disclosure fund organized panel during which he released an alleged photo of a 1,000-foot wide silver disc-shaped flying saucer. All right, it says captured near the Four Corners in FL20, estimated 600 to 1,000 feet in diameter. Silver-hued, disc-shaped, the UAP Disclosure Fund posted on X. All right, so let me get that real quick. That's that Zechariah. All right, so as we read in Zechariah, in 2nd Ezra 9, hey, the Lord is beginning to visit the world which he made. Right? I was just thinking about this real quick. This is Zechariah 5, and when it says the flying scroll, all right, this is what Zechariah saw. Zechariah 5:1, it says, then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. All right. It says, in this measurement is kind of like similar to what's being reported in that article, you know. It says, then he said unto me that this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. All right. Speaking about the chariots of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, the fact that they're being seen more frequently, all right, this is a sign, this is a curse that goeth over the earth, man. This is a sign of America's destruction, all right, of judgment that's coming. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. Verse 4, and I will bring it forth, saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. All right, Babylon, America, is the house of the thief. All right, where they have the Lord's jewels held captive, his people. So that the fathership, these chariots are beginning to enter into the house of the thief, into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and it shall consume it with timber thereof and the stones thereof. Right, so this place is going to get consumed with that fire. All right, from the missiles and also that concentrated fire that's going to come forth from the chariots, which the world ignorantly calls UFOs. Right. Just want to see what that says in timber. All right. Stones thereof. Anything. Yeah, hailstones. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much the that laser fire, man. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much the point, man. As you see again, all right, the point of this this lesson, news and prophecy, know that the end is near. It is even at the doors, man. All right. So every day is a step closer to the end of this place, man. All right. So many different things happening all over the planet, you know. So we're in those times, man. All right. So hey, I pray that this live lesson was edifying. I'll close it out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring in the house of David, the elect, that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers. Shalom to the elect. Shalom. Shalom.